Well, hello everybody. Secondhand Dan coming to you from the penny pincher thrift shop land once again. I'm in the workshop. I've got not the most pleasant of task, but I thought maybe you could hang out with me for a few. It's almost gotten to the point where it's been almost, 2 weeks since I posted. I'm almost getting rusty at doing this. Searching for the pause button on my phone here. And anyway, let's turn on some more lighting here. What I got going is like I say, it's not a glory project. I've got a little refrigerator. Right now it's laying on its back. I picked this up with my son. We were getting my son a larger refrigerator, and the people sold us their larger one and the smaller one for the one price that we paid. So we agreed upon that. My daughter said she wanted the smaller one, and I dropped it off for her place, and all of a sudden she don't want it because, you know, I guess a picture's worth 1,000 words, but being present is worth $1 million, so she wasn't there. So I guess she decided she didn't like its presence. It had duct tape on it. You can see it had 3 pieces of duct tape going across it. I already got the one off, and this one's halfway off. I got the first layer off, and then we have the third one. I'm guessing that maybe somebody said, well, when you move a refrigerator, you want to tape the doors closed, and they went ape crap on it. Because I think that with 3 pieces of tape going all the way across, one would have been enough to hold the big door. But I can see some residue down here. So it looks like they managed. You can see the pattern right there. Of course, it's obvious there, but you can see a silhouette. So it went up to this piece here. That's some of the glue I've been dissolving. And it went across, and that one's about 90% taken care of. So I'm in the midst of doing this one, and I thought, well, why not go ahead and post a video? So my method for getting the duct tape off, they left it on there too long. And I don't know why. I guess some people just have that savoir-faire, that lazy gene. And they just said, let it ride, and it ain't important enough. So I'm stuck with getting this mess off of here, and it's stickier than a week-old Band-Aid. So I had a little more success on the second strip. The first one, I think I heated up too much. This is my heat gun, and I heated it up, and it left a lot of glue. This one, I tried to hold back on the heat just enough, and I think I got at least a third more glue off that way than I did with the first section. So let's go ahead and do this upper section. I'm going to need a stool to stand on, because the reason it's on its back is I'm using a solution, and you know, it tends to run off to a lesser degree on its back than it would if it was standing straight up. And I need that solution to help dissolve the glue. So, show you what I'm operating with here. Got the Black & Decker heating strip. So, you'll actually see the tape start to curl up, but you don't want to do that so much. Actually, you're heating the metal below it and just wafting over the surface of it, because I want as much glue to stick to the tape rather than the refrigerator. But I'm trying to make it presentable so I can resell it. For what we got in it, I think I'm going to I'll make a decent amount of money off of it. Maybe 4 times what I paid for it. Because it's still relatively a new model. There's still pieces of tape inside the door. Not this kind of tape, the tape from the factory holding the plastic drawers or bins on the door. There's still some blue tape. This one isn't being very cooperative. Shredded. The story is that the people who are selling this refrigerators to us, they were, there we go, they were skipping town. Nobody's after them, but they just figured they had it with the States. They were leaving the country, where they, but they were leaving to a USA providence, Samoa, I think they said, or something like that. They're looking for greener pastures, or I don't know. All right, well, this one is, I like what I see there. It's definitely, this one's better than the last one. It's a fine line between enough heat to get it off and too much heat to leave too much behind. And I may have just entered that area where I need another little snort of heat. Although this refrigerator is in decent condition, is by no means absolute pristine, but there are plenty of people who would be very content to own this without the tape all over the doors, I'm sure. Because I've got a smaller refrigerator. It doesn't have, it's not a 2-door, but it's probably only as tall as the lower section of this one, the whole height. And when you open it, I think there's a little ice box on the top of it. And I've had that one I've been offering for sale on Marketplace, and every once in a while I'll get somebody that, you know, says they want it, they're coming for it, but they've been no-shows. But on that one, there's also some stuff on the doors, and it's not duct tape. It almost looks like a dried out paper sticker swatches. And so I never bothered to try and clean that one up. I thought I was asking low enough money for it that they would be happy to have it anyway. Maybe just, you know, chuck it in the garage or the workshop. But I might get around to see if I can't clean that stuff off. I don't know that is, I don't think that one's going to come off with a heat gun, because I think it's like a thin, papery, hard film. So I'm thinking maybe it's try and put WD-40 on it and let it marinate for a couple of days and see if that doesn't soften it up. You can't put WD-40 on these because they're plastic coated. The tape's plastic coated, and the WD is just going to roll off and not penetrate the sticky stuff underneath, the actual glue of the tape. So you ever notice WD-40? They've been an issue with me. I mean, the substance itself is good. What's in the can, but let me show you. Just the other day, watch, it's probably the wrong can. Oh, yeah, is this it? No, this ain't the one. Well, I got one just like this, and it stopped spraying. And I've had that happen before with WD-40s. I think like 2 other times I've had WD-40s that just quit spraying. So I'd have to poke a hole in. Oh, there it is. I'd poke a hole in the can and pour it into a glass jar and try and use it there. But look, I'm pushing the trigger. There's a good half a can in there and nothing comes out. I said, and that's happened to me before with WD-40. So I don't know what's up with that. I mean, Every manufacturer is trying to save a penny on their product. So maybe WD-40 Corporation found somebody who'll sell them a cheaper spray can than another corporation. Hey, we can save a penny a can if we go with this corporation and buy their spray cans. Maybe they're saving 2 cents a can, but it ain't worth it because they keep quitting on me. All right, well, the reason, what I say, what I'm using to de-sticky it, I'm using this. This is why I had to lay it on its back, because I don't want it to run right off when I pour it on there. So I dribble just above it, and I massage it in. Now you got to be careful because definitely heat guns and lighter fluid are not the best combination, but it's a low volatile thing, this particular charcoal fluid. Plus I got my fire extinguisher over there. But I'm using a something like a tongue depressor as to scrape it off once it gets soft. There it is. It's underneath the refrigerator. So you kind of scratch it back and forth to work the lighter fluid in it. It needs to be a little hotter, evidently. I'm not feeling it lifting. I mean, if I went full money with the heater from the get-go, it would just leave this all this stickiness behind it from the tape. There we go, it's softening up now. Get you in close to see that. Let's see how my tilt works. Is using a tongue depressor is basically an extra wide popsicle stick. It doesn't scratch the paint job. Let's add a little more of the Kingsford. And they're not a sponsor of my channel. I don't think they'd want to sponsor me if they saw what I was doing with the use of their product. There we go. I got using it sideways. Look at all that gookiness. Not a fun job, but it's not the most aggravating. It's just, what do I say, not satisfying like some things you work on. I mean, when I stand back and look at it in the end, I'll be satisfied. Oh, this top one's going so much better than the middle one. I said I already took the bottom one off. Usually takes a couple scrapings. A couple more shots of the fluid. But we're getting results. That's the bottom line. So let's stick with it. The worst is almost over. I still got some of the outer layer. Anybody else out there find yourself often, I mean like me, often using my fingernail as a tool, my thumbnail, my fingernails? I didn't they're not just to protect your fingertips. And you figure, well, animals in the wild, their claws are tools. So I don't mind using mine like a tool. A little more Kingsford. Massage it in. Now I'm using multiple nails on it. Stick around. I mean, I'll show you the inside of the refrigerator. It's nice. If I didn't already have one, let me show you the one that I operate out of here in my thrift store. And it's been running for a couple years now. I bought this unit at somebody's yard sale. It looks about the size of a beer meister. It's a Excellence Deluxe, whatever that is. And it's been sitting here operating real good for, I don't know, it seems like it's been at least 5 years. I say I don't have a lot in it, but actually the half and half and that jug there and the jug in the back are just like ballast. Sometimes I put just a couple of jugs of items to, so all the cold doesn't roll out when you open up the door. But it's been an excellent unit. And like I say, it's been running nonstop here for years. And when I bought it, it looked like it was probably 10 or 15 years old. So I've never heard of Excellence. And I've been buying and selling appliances for the past 20 some years. So now this unit here is made by, I have no idea. Huh. All right, well, let's see if we can find out. Oh, Frigidaire. Frigidaire, Kelvinator. No, well, they're not the same company, but I don't know if you got the joke there. Borg Warner. You can see this has been marinating pretty well on here. Looks like somebody threw up on here. A little more fingernail action. Yeah, I can just feel it giving way. There's a thick spot down here, but let me show you inside. See, it's bright white. I said what are these, like bottle holders for water bottles and other trays? They're still got the original tape holding them on, factory tape. A little schmutz down there I'll need to clean, and a little bit on the bottom. You say, well, it's got no shelves. Yes, it does. Oop, I'm over here with the shelves. So I'll be cleaning those up in my my slop sink. There's 3 shelves here and a big bin. Well, I'm going to go ahead and tell you what I paid for it. Depends on what you mean by paid. I mean, because I helped my son out, and he paid the bill for the 2 refrigerators. And he paid $125. And I said, well, because I'm helping you, I'll take the little one, because it was my truck and my time and my back. And so he agreed to do that. So I've got whatever my time and my back into it, and whatever I'm putting into it right now. So I'm thinking this is a $100 unit here now. So we'll find out. I might start at $125. In the resale business, I'd say about 80% of the people that you deal with want you to move on price. So in order to do that, I usually price it a little bit more than what I am willing to accept for it. So I would love to get $125 for it, but if somebody balks and says, well, can you do a better price? I'd be like, how about $110? And they'll probably come back and say, I'll give you $100. And I'm like, well, okay, come and get it for $100. So that's how that works in secondhand land. All right, well, we've been going at it a couple of minutes, so if you'll just stick with me, get it, stick. Well, all right, excuse me, I guess I'm just becoming unglued here. I'm known for bad puns, dad jokes. One thing I ain't got is a dad bod, though. I never did get that beer belly. You know, I'm in my upper 60s right now, and I actually lost weight in the last year. Not through exercising. My wife was actually like, you're losing weight, there's something wrong. Well, what had happened was I just stopped putting the ridiculous coffee cream in my coffee. All those weird flavors like coconut hazel or banana fudge, whatever, Hershey's. You know, I just stopped using that, and I just went with half and half. Well, that wasn't enough alone to lose weight, but I stopped drinking soda pop. If it's a soda pop, I won't drink it. So I stopped doing that, and I stopped eating candy. So those three things, they've made a difference in my weight. And they made a little bit difference in how I feel, but I'm thinking I got to take it to the next level and maybe just start eating less processed foods. Because we've all heard how about processed foods aren't notably a good thing to be consumed, but they're so darn convenient. I mean, I still eat fast food because I get hungry. Man's got to eat, but all right, making progress here. I don't think I'm going to need the heat gun anymore. Hey, while you're at it, I know this isn't the most exciting video, but go ahead and give me a like, a subscribe. Here it is, Friday, November 14th. And it is countdown. It is 31 days until head down to Florida. December 15th is traditionally our leave and head that way. And we'll probably at least spend one night at one rest stop. I know it's, I think 16 hours of driving. Not counting gasoline stops and dinner stops. And if there's any accidents that back traffic up for a while. Looking good. I thought I heard a squeak there on the rag. Now, somebody who shall remain nameless, you can probably figure it out. I said I dropped this off and it was brought to me after my daughter decided that she didn't want it. Used a dolly I had out in my parking lot to scoot it up to my building, and they put the refrigerator face first into the dolly. I'm like, what? That's not how you do it. Oh, I know. It doesn't hurt it. Believe me, you couldn't hurt that unit. No, no, no. How would you like it if I took a piece of your furniture and just move your table with the face on the dolly? So, I know it didn't do it any good. There's some scratches here. I don't know if they were here earlier or not, but they could be from being face plant into the dolly. I mean, I don't even like to put it on the side mount, unless you got a blanket or something like that, but at least, you know, put the darn refrigerator on the dolly on its side, and make sure that when you load a refrigerator onto a dolly, that when you tilt the dolly back, that the doors are in the position where they want to hang closed and not pop open. Then maybe you wouldn't need 3 pieces of tape. All right, I'm ready to stand this thing up. I can't stand it. It's one of those things that my son and I put this on my workbench last night, and out of sight, out of mind, and I forgot it was here until I walk into the shop this morning. I'm like, oh, okay. That job's calling me. Here, back up, please. Thank you. I just knew it would be easier to work on this if it was at this height rather than down on the floor. I mean, if it had been a nice summer day, I might have just, would have been content working on it outside on the ground. I still would have leaned it back. But when you're in nice weather, you don't mind hovering over something that's all sticky as much as you do in cold weather. Let's do a deep dive here and see what the old internet says the retail on a unit like this is. Hang on. Alrighty, well, I just got back from my deep dive on the internet to see what something like this appraises for. And from what I can see, it's about anywhere like 200, 250. When you look at the internet, they say how many cubic feet they are. And it used to be, back in the day, it was obvious when you would open up a refrigerator, they would say cubic feet. They don't do that in the last, I think, 10, 15 so years. You have to look at the number. I think if you look at the model number right there, that you can possibly interpret it. And I guess that's what it meant. I said, well, maybe it's a 4.5. And so I put this whole number in the internet along with Frigidaire, and it did come back as a 4.5 cubic feet. So I don't know why when they can tell you how many amps, how many volts, how many hertz, and blah, 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 they can't just say 4.5 cubic feet right there. Or if it was a different unit, 10 cubic feet. On the old ones, they said that. Now, as far as cleanliness goes, this looks fairly easy to do a wash up on. It'll be pretty nice after I wash it up. I said, I debate, do I leave the pieces of tape here? Are people going to be more impressed when they see the tape still holding these in place? What's your thought on that? All right, well, I'm not entirely finished with the outside, so about 90% finished. Now when I say 90% finished, that's 90% finished getting the glue off. I still need to wash the outside of it. You know, it's a little, oh, I'm sorry, you're facing the wrong way. I still got to clean up the outside with the soapy rag. Let me put this heat gun away. It's a heat and strip. The funny thing is, it's only 1400 watts. And they could have gone up to, I think, 1500 by law for any appliance that plugs into 110. This is a little pet peeve of mine. Wire. Look how it, back in the day, they were really supple. You could drop it and it would just go straight as an arrow. I mean, we're talking like 40 years ago, but there again, they're trying to save something on ingredients. So now the wire is half like a spring, especially when you want to try and wrap it up around something. It doesn't want to cooperate. Say, whoop. Because I still, every once in a while, I get something old and it has a very supple cord on it. Maybe a few manufacturers still putting out product today might elect to have a supple cord. Now this one on the soldering iron isn't so bad, but it's a smaller gauge. What's the wattage? This is a JC Penney, so that tells you how old this is. 60 hertz, 2.5 amps. I know there's a conversion into watts, so I'm not going to do it right now. You let me know how many, 2.5 amps is how many watts? I know there's volts into amps equals watts, and watts times volts equals amps, something like that. That goes way back. I took electrical wiring in a trade school back in my high school days. And it served me well, taking that class. I never became, quote, the electrician, but I gained a lot of knowledge and I've used it often over the years. I went to a plumbing trade school. That was back when I was poor. So it was kind of like a government subsidized. They actually, they gave you, they called it a stipend when you went back there in the day. So I actually got a little pocket money and got trained in plumbing skills. And that was, you know, I had to take buses to get there because I lived in suburbia and it was on the other side of downtown Pittsburgh, so. Let's see, oh, and I also went to automotive and diesel school. That came out of my own pocket. I got loans to do that. And I went to auctioneer school, but you know, that was probably like what, was it a 4 or 5 day course? So you stay tuned and check out some of my videos. When I get down to Florida, I plan on posting more of the auction, my participation in it, and I'm going to talk to the rest of the crew and ask how they feel about being videoed and put up on my YouTube channel. If they're cool with that, maybe you'll start to see the crew and the owner. I know that it's Dudley's Auction, Inverness, Florida, and every week we have what's called the estate sale, estate merchandise auction, where people bring in things and leave them with us, and we sell them. So, but every Monday we set that stuff up for a Tuesday auction. And towards the end of the setup, which is usually around 2, 3, maybe as late as 4 o'clock, a video is produced of the items that are going to be sold at auction. And I think I've done the video 3 times where I walked around with their GoPro and videoed the preview for the auction on the Monday. So I want to see about maybe taking some of that, especially the ones I do in the future, and maybe I can just, I know a lot of people say, oh, there's a link to this video. Oh, can I just put the whole darn video on my site rather than just link it? Right now your link is, I'm telling you, it's out there. I mean, right today you could go to YouTube and Dudley's auction and find the preview videos. Because they don't take them down. I know they go back a couple years. So I've got a kick out of looking at some of the older ones. I've only been working with them for, this will be my 3rd year. So go ahead and check out now Dudley's auction, and you can see what I'm talking about as far as previews on YouTube. All right, well, I think you've endured enough refrigerator cleanup. So thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. This is Secondhand Dan. I hope to see you soon again. Bye, everybody.